Well, sources have told India Today that the main target of the police raid at St.Denis is the alleged mastermind of the Paris attacks, Abdelhamid Abaaoud. Now, although there is still no clarity on whether the alleged mastermind is present in the area, the police have launched this fierce operation. One policeman has reportedly been killed in the fresh shootout that is taking place currently in St.Denis, that is a northern suburb of Paris. Two suspects have also been reportedly killed and several policemen have been injured in this ongoing operation. According to reports coming in, several other suspects are believed to be holed up in the apartment in that particular area. Now, this shootout broke out during an anti-terrorist police operation in St.Denis, and the neighborhood has also been completely sealed off. Security forces are conducting a combing operation of the entire area. The police have confirmed to India Today that people have been requested to stay indoors. This fresh firing comes 5 days after the worst terror attacks in French history that killed more than 120 people in the capital of France. So live pictures there of that massive police operation that is still underway. It began as early as 4 in the morning, pre-dawn time, when fresh shots were heard, and we believe that one police personnel has lost his life very tragically as a result of that exchange of fire. People have been asked to move away from the area. The entire building, in fact, the adjoining buildings have also been evacuated. No vehicle is being allowed. We are seeing a huge presence of police personnel. We can see police cars, vehicles, ambulances also there to assist those who have been injured. We believe 2 suspects have been gunned down, but there is still no clarity on really the main purpose of launching this fierce police operation. All transport has also been suspended, public transport that is. And clearly, you know, right now the police are carrying about combing operations. We haven't really heard any gunshots in the last few minutes. We're tracking the developments very closely right here on India Today. It seems for now that the gunshots have ceased, the firing has ceased, but the operation is still presently underway. Now, there were also earlier reports coming in that the mastermind, the alleged mastermind of the terror attacks that took place in Paris on Friday, Abdelhamid Abaaoud, who is also a Belgian national, is believed to have been holed up inside that apartment. There is a huge security force that is present in St.Denis. Now, St.Denis is also, the area in a northern suburb of Paris. It is also home to the Stade de France Sports Stadium, where the suicide bombings had taken place in Friday. So this is, of course, a very important area there. At least one person has died in this police raid. We believe that the police personnel was killed in an apartment that was targeted by the police raid earlier on in the morning. Let's also just cut across to France 24, a French news channel there, and try and get in the very latest.
4 o'clock this morning, he is on the second floor, and he tells me that the raid took place on the 3rd floor of his building. Now, he says that he saw yesterday 2 men and 1 woman arrive in that building. They apparently rented the flat. He told me that it was his friend's flat, but he didn't know them. He hadn't seen them before. So that's what he told me. He said that he's been living in this neighborhood for 3.5 years and that he's not seen anything. About 5 or 10 minutes ago, several gunshots. I don't know what kind of weapons they were, but things are really tense right here. We can see a lot of people have actually come with the media next to the security cordon because they have access to their street. They can't work because the metro lines have been shut and the tramway's been shut too. So those people are stuck here with us, with the media, and they told us that, they can't go home. So some of the building, I'm told, has been evacuated by police before the raid started, and the residents were told to go and find refuge in the city or where.
Okay, we seem to have lost Aurore Dupuy. Aurore, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you, Kat.
Okay, the line is slightly cutting out to you there in St.Denis, bringing us lots of details on what's happened up to now. Now, we've been told that the police are linking this raid directly to the man who is suspected of coordinating the attacks in Paris on Friday. Do you know if they believe that Abdelhamid Abaaoud himself is inside that apartment?
We haven't had that confirmation yet. It's not official, but we've been told by sources that someone important, key to the investigation, is indeed in that building. We don't know who it is. We showed a picture of that man, of that primary suspect, to the eyewitness that I told you about, the young man who lives on the second floor of that building, and he didn't recognize him. So that's all it is for now. That's all the information we've got. We are behind the security cordon. The road's blocked off. There are loads of firemen here, authorities. With a lot of people are scared. A lot of people are worried. Residents are here looking out the window, filming, taking pictures, wondering what's going on. And a lot of them are stuck because they can't work. Because, as I said, the metro line is shut. I've talked to one young lady who's coming home from a nightclub. She was in Paris and she came here to go home, and she's actually stuck with us because she can't go home.
Indeed. Now, Aurora, just to recap on what you've been telling us, you did mention that gunshots have been heard in recent minutes. Also, explosions have been happening as well.
Yes, several explosions, about, I'd say 6 or 7, but I was talking to an eyewitness at the time, so I didn't really count them, but at least 6 or 7 explosions. We saw dozens of police officers inspecting the area, going in circles, going around, for example, at the building of the Société Générale Bank. So they're really checking everywhere to try and find potential suspects or any danger, potential danger in the area.
Okay, thank you so much for now, Aurora Dupuy. I'm sure we'll come back to you very shortly for any updates so that you get there at the scene. Let's just turn to our international affairs editor, Armin Georgian, who's with me.
All right, so that was a live update there from the French news TV channel French 24, where they were just updating the viewers. So about 6 to 7 explosions have been heard in the recent minutes, and several gunshots have also been heard. And as the correspondent was just mentioning, all metro lines have been shot, which is also causing a lot of inconvenience to the common man there on the streets of Paris. We are seeing a huge presence of security personnel. Just to update our viewers who have just tuned in to India today, we did give news of fresh shots that were heard in a place called St.Denis, which is in the northern suburb of Paris. And we do believe we can also see a French police officer standing guard during that raid. It was a massive raid that was launched by the police personnel. At least one person is believed to be killed in that particular raid that took place about 4:30 in the morning. There was a huge, there were a number of gunfire shots that were heard between the time of 4:30 a.m. to 5:30 a.m. local time. Grenade explosions are also believed to have been heard. Now, we also are getting news that the Paris attack mastermind Abdelhamid Abaaoud and Saleh Abdeslam are thought to be, inside this flat that is now under siege. We have with us Deputy Editor Smita Sharma, who joins us live from Paris. She is very closely tracking all the developments out there. Smita, we just cut straight to the French, national TV, and they did mention about fresh round of explosions being heard. What is the latest?
Well, it's a very fluid and a developing situation, and which is the reason why no official confirmations have come in yet, whether how many policemen have been injured and how many of the suspects there have been shot down by these forces, the elite commandos, the elite army that you see they're present in their riot gears in such heavy numbers here in this area. Jean Jaurès, which is close to the Stade de France, which is around 2 kilometers away. This apartment that we are talking about is also close to the famous basilica in this area. So while operations are undergoing, what we are also being told by unconfirmed reports is that there is perhaps another woman, in fact, who is holed up in that apartment, who also is believed to have a suicide vest around her. So police have to tread very, very carefully because this is a residential neighborhood that you're talking about, in like any typical Parisian suburb, where you see a mix of, in fact, high-rise apartments, buildings, as well as, of course, those shops, restaurants, and cafeterias in the area. All these people have now been, in fact, strictly warned to not try and come out, step out and just to remain indoors. So some of them did try coming out as well, because it's basic human nature and instinct to try out of curiosity to come and get a glimpse of what is playing out on the streets. But the day is unfolding now, and this has been an absolutely tense start with these early dawn, in fact, raids happening in this Parisian suburb.
Absolutely. It's a tense situation there. And as you rightly mentioned, Smita, it's a developing situation. And interestingly, the northern Paris suburb of St.Denis, I believe, also assume a lot of significance, Smita, because it's also home to the Stade de France Sports Stadium, where that suicide bombings had taken place on Friday.
Yes, Bilal Hadfi, the guy who came and blew himself outside of the Stade de France gate. There were two gates, basically, D and H. These were the gates that had been targeted. The initial plan, as per reports, was to actually come and blow themselves off just when people were pouring in to watch that international soccer friendly between France and Germany. That would have maximized casualties, because there would have been an entire presence of young people, men, women out there in the stadium. Europeans, French, like Europeans, are very, very passionate when it comes to soccer. But maybe luckily for some that the attacker actually got held back or delayed due to traffic. So by the time he came in, the match had already begun. And when the attacker was stopped from going in, that's when he blew himself up at the gate itself. So, these targets have been chosen up, and they also seem to suggest that Francois Hollande was himself, the French president, was watching that match, that he was perhaps the possible target of this entire carnage, because as the ISIS came out with that video release, with that statement saying we are hitting at France for its operations against ISIS and its bases and its people, in those swaths of territory, including Syria and Iraq. ISIS really is the biggest monster that the world today is dealing with in terms of its military capacity, its organizational capacity. It's far, far bigger than what we saw perhaps of the Taliban or the Al-Qaeda.
All right.
It exists more at an ideological level.
All right. And Smita, while you were just speaking, we could hear, gunfire there. Smita, if you could just also, throw some light on these multiple police raids that have been conducted across the city, where so many people have been kept under house arrest. Where those are those sounds of the gunshots that can be heard. So very clearly, the operation is still currently underway. We do believe that one police officer has sustained serious injuries and has been critically wounded as a result of the ongoing operation. Yes, Smita, I was just getting the sounds of those gunfire in the background. I just wanted to know from you, has the French government given an official reaction about the ongoing police operation?
Not yet, Avantika. Remember, in these kinds of situations, either immediately after terror attacks or in the aftermath, people have to be very, very careful. There were some serious lessons learned for all of us, be it the government or in the media, post those 2008 Mumbai carnage as well, because a lot of, in fact, journalists were accused of, through their reports, giving away locations, of course, of hostages. So there are lessons drawn from every story, and in fact, these parts attacks were compared constantly to the Mumbai attacks. We have involved France's 9/11 movement, France's 26/11 movement. Several copycat attempts were actually spotted from 2009 to 2013 across France. But as far as those raids are conducted are concerned, there have essentially been overnight raids. Since Saturday we saw them, they started to happen, and they've been conducted across the region suburbs, especially areas like Grenoble, Toulouse, Lyon. People trying to chase every possible suspect, and these also bringing up those files of for the arrests that have been made in the recent past. The kind of multinationality at display here that you see, the multiculturalism aspect of it, the multinationality aspect of it, that is just so baffling. Now, if you were to talk about Abaaoud, the mastermind of these attacks, he's a Belgian of Moroccan origin.
Yes.
Similarly, Umar, Ismail Mustafi, one of the French attackers who lived in the suburbs here where I am currently, if you were to take train stoppages, it would take you around 2 train stoppages to reach every Concorne. And that is an area which is full of, ethnic minorities. That's an area which has a lot of South Asian diaspora as well. And he is a French citizen whose mother was a Portuguese. So these are the kind of diverse routes that we are looking at. But essentially, when it comes to these citizens and these passport holders who went out there on the streets, blew themselves up, or just started gunning down people in cold blood, they are also French people. So it's a made in France, homegrown problem that the government and the authorities are dealing with.
Nisagama manipamaga nipamaga sanipamani sapasa जहाँ तक याद आती रहेगी